Hello, shipbreakers! Welcome back to Ostranauts. Last time we started our new life in space with our hero Grant, and through a fortunate gig managed to get a good bit of starting money, which we will now use to buy a 3-day permit, so we will not be bothered by the space cops. And 3 days is actually a pretty long time in this game, since it goes in real time. Let's remove our butt imprints from the nav chair and then look for a new ship to loot. By the way, you don't have to worry about running out of derelicts. They will bring in new ones sometimes and remove the old ones, like now. It happened again. Strange. This ship has its airlock. I wonder why. Hold on. Oh, I understand now. Mooring does not replace docking. All it does is hold you in place. You still have to release and dock properly. I see. We learned something new. Good news, this is an oxygen hauling ship. Good quality canisters that are also not empty are a fairly low effort source of money. Of course our ship doesn't have much space, so I'm going to take the best quality floors and walls from this ship and create a small room specifically for storage. Here's a quick tip. You can install parts one by one, but you can also hit install over here, then let's say haul. And this first option is basically a use whatever you have on hand kinda blueprint. And then you or a crew member will get it done, as long as you have the parts. Also, time controls don't have shortcuts by default, you should definitely set it up. About an hour and a half later, we have taken all the good parts from the ship and made a very basic storage space. I also took the battery. It's going to need repairs, but will increase our time out here, so that's nice. Also took a damaged optical sensor, mainly to show you how to repair stuff. You see, we need specific tools and parts to even start working, which I happen to have. So you put all the items in there and get to work. And what you get after that is a barely functional piece. To get it to top condition, you also need to restore it, which takes a lot longer. There we go, good as new. There's nothing left that I want to take. The regular variety of gas pumps are very common, and so not worth the effort in my opinion. So we thank the ship's previous owner for their contribution, and go home for now. Home sweet home. Now we have to sell all the loot we got. Normally you can only trade what you have on you, but we won't drag these over, so instead we're making a zone. Shortcuts end by default. Then you click and drag to highlight the rectangle and hit New Zone. Hauling basically makes it a stockpile. What we need now is barter. Accessible by anyone, so we're good. Let's put the batteries to charge while we move around. You don't want the embarrassment of not having energy when it's time to perform. Always start with refilling fuel and power. And now we trade. Prices are all over the place and heavily depend on condition. You'll figure out the price versus effort that works for you. Here you see the zone we just made shows up, and it contains everything in there, even inside containers. You see, pumps are so very cheap, I think we won't be bothering with them anymore. Almost 15k for a few items, that's a pretty good start. We already made the cost of the permit. I randomly buy a spare battery for the weather, just because. And because we have a designated barter zone, the stuff we buy goes there automatically if there's room. Now let's put the sensor in here and see how much it goes for. Not really enough to justify the work I put into it, but we're still learning. Alright, let's see what's in here. I bought this dolly, by the way, makes it much easier to carry a bunch of heavy items. We got beans in the airlock, that's a good sign. Oh, it's bigger than I thought. We pry open the door so it's still intact, just not in the way. Nice. Probably gonna be mostly empty though. But we have some racks, that usually means cargo bay. Getting a cargo bay on the first day would be ridiculous. Another closed door, but this one is damaged, so we have to scrap it. A bed, a bathroom, and a VHS. Half the world doesn't even know what that is anymore. Don't know the price on enough consoles, but definitely not enough for its size. Yet more sinks. I actually bought large containers to take the water. Usually pays well. Nice organized life support room. And a crate. Having containers around is always a good idea, because they give more space than they occupy. So you see, the 2x2 crate has a 3x3 capacity, which makes it efficient. And now the dolly doesn't fit. Let's rearrange a bit. By the way, I played around in the options a little. You can set the damage overlay to black and gold, which is easier on my eyes, plus it makes the damage things stand out more, so I think I'm going to keep this look. Anyway, I'm going to take these beans and put them in the storeroom. The difference between beans and racks in this game is that beans have smaller space, but are wall mounted, so the floor is free. It's perfect for placing larger things, whereas racks are bigger, but also take up the floor space. Those are better for keeping your own stuff in. Obviously taking the oxygen tanks here, and the nitrogen while we're at it, even though those are cheaper. This is the true purpose of the dolly. All these items you would be dragging back one by one will instead make a neat stack. It's a real time saver. The last item of true value on this ship appears to be this storage bay. It's in very rough condition, and I don't yet know where to put it. But it just gives so much storage once it's installed that I have to have it. So in the end, I don't take much from this one. I did find the reactor plate. We'll see the price on that. I installed and filled the beans. It's time to go home now. We're still getting respectable amounts of money, even as we're getting used to the local market rates. Now we can start thinking about efficiency. For that I buy an angle grinder, a tool that is significantly faster than the handsaw for dismantling structural parts. And it's also time to invest into a shipbreaker's true second skin, the Eva suit. Our sensors pick up a weird-looking ship, so I decide to check it out. Nearly turning into a derelict ourselves along the way. Their proximity warning must be like the turn signal on a BMW. The thing about the Eva suit is that it has full life support, but it's in the backpack slot, so goodbye easy inventory, you will be missed. We take a look and... this is not a ship. It's a storage unit in space. Never seen this before. We pry open the crates. One of them has some expensive medicine, the rest is food and junk. On our way back, we get targeted for a routine inspection. There's an awkward moment where the officer keeps demanding I show my permit, and I didn't realize I was still sitting down. But all was good, and so they left. On K-Leg, I end the day repairing our extra battery so it's ready to install later. And so ends the first day of the rest of our life. Well, technically a half day, we woke up at noon. But this is where we will leave off. Tomorrow's going to be a new day of opportunities. Thank you for watching, leave a like if you had a good time here, and may your ships be always full of loot. See you next time.